up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the After 29 podcast, episode 26. How many of us have them? Friends. I'm Vincent Dunstan, a.k.a. Minister V. Y'all missed it too, man. Like, what? Y'all so corny, man. Damn, I name a whole episode, man. God. Nah, we gonna do it over, bro. I don't even care about the live. God. Don't come up with a good name for episode and just gonna sit there like little logs, bro.
I'm ready, man.
Clearly. All right, hit 4, 3. What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the After 29 podcast, episode 26. How many of us? Damn.
Yeah.
Messing up.
Dang. R. Kelly claims he's broke before jury selection begins.
That nigga been broke.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He need an album.
He ain't gonna make
No.
no album.
Is he making one with a daggone tin can and a plastic cup?
Shit, Sean made
Well,
a
he
whole.
might be able to.
Sean did a whole album in jail.
Man, you heard how that John sound?
Would be alive if I didn't. All right, y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right. What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the After 29 podcast, episode 26. How many of us have them?
Friends.
I'm Vincent Dunstan, a.k.a. Minister V. Let's get it going.
This your boy Malcolm Davis, man of steel.
Clayton Foster, big shoulder brother in the building.
It's Malcolm Dick. Dang.
What?
Everybody wanna be like Malcolm. I wanna be like Malcolm.
Talk about how you mess up your own name, bro. I knew you couldn't read, but
Damn, you getting old boy. You got dementia, don't you? That nigga said I'm Malcolm D. You are?
Oh man.
You are. That's the one thing you should never forget.
you lucky Terrell ain't here. He would have been slaying you. Hey, well, Malcolm, he called you his name before. Dang, M-Dog. So,
But that's a nickname, though. That nigga said his government name. Hey, I'm Malcolm Davis. You are?
nah, man. I'm glad Malcolm didn't get no beers. Boy, you sound drunk. You ain't
Nigga, don't even say your name or something. We'll just introduce you.
Oh man.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Okay, let's try this again.
I'm ready to...
You sure? What's
Yeah,
your,
no.
what's your name?
You know, practice.
You want me to write it down for you, bro?
Nah, man, I'm good.
Practice saying to yourself, I'm Mazio Boom.
I'm good.
I'm Mazio Boom. Like, say it in a different emotion, bro.
Oh, man, I'm good, man.
You sure?
Yeah.
He's sweating.
Man, because I was laughing hard, man.
That nigga don't know who he is, bro.
Dang. Dang.
That don't make me. Mess around and forget who I am, boy.
All right, I'm good this time, man.
All right.
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. And what up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the After 29 podcast, episode 26. How many of us have them? Friends. What the hell?
I'm trying not to laugh, bro.
You know what? And I'm watching this face. As I'm like this, I'm trying to like,
Friends. Man.
y'all hate y'all, man.
Hey, you sweating too?
Yeah, I
man?
know it's hot, bro.
It is hot.
But I just drank a whole bunch of water.
What does that mean?
You drink a whole bunch of water real fast, your body be trying to release some of it.
Yeah, nigga, when it's cold.
Your body gotta heat up to just like if you drink something cold, your body heats up to take care of it.
Regulate the temperature.
All right, man. Forget that. Let's roll. All right. What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the After 29 podcast, episode 26. How many of us have them?
Friends.
I'm Vincent Dunstan, a.k.a. Minister V. Let's get it going.
It's your boy Malcolm Davis, man of steel.
Clayton Foster, big shoulder brother in the building.
Mazio Boom, blessed and highly favored.
Oh, snap, he got it. Hey.
All right, guys, let's pray. Eternal God, our Father, we come to you on this Friday evening, Lord, to give your name honor, glory, and praise, Lord. Lord, we ask that you will just watch over us, Lord. Watch over this podcast, Lord. We ask that you will just touch our listeners, Lord. Bless them, Lord. And Lord, we ask that everything that is said, Lord, is informative, Lord, and it's just good topics, Lord. And we hope that people get some from the Lord. And Lord, we also ask that you would help us to remember our names, Lord. Lord, help us, that touch of dementia, Lord. We pray for healing, Lord, in your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. By his stripes we are healed. I'm about to pray over this brother here. I'm about to pray healing.
Oh my
That
god.
boy didn't know who he was.
I don't know why I said Malcolm Davis, man. I don't know why that came
Oh,
out.
man. But, all right, episode 26, y'all.
That's why he was missing Malcolm so hard. He went on vacation.
No, man, I'm telling you. I could have sworn I heard Malcolm's voice. He said, yeah, internet. I was like, internet? What?
And he said, "What'd you say, Malcolm? Malcolm wasn't even on the phone." I was like, "You miss Malcolm that bad?"
That boy missing his, see, he missed him so much, he want to be him. Boy said, I'm Malcolm Davis. No, you're not. That's not your line. Oh, Lord. Jesus Christ. All right, y'all. How many of us have them? Friends. I mean, who Danny said it. All right, look, before we even get started, just stuff like this, man, is why I love my friends, man.
We know who Mazio's best friend is.
Right. We know who his favorite is. Oh, God. Oh, man. Hey, look, we going to jump right in it, man. We going to have fun, man. This is a benefit of having good friends, man. You get good laughs, entertainment, man. You got somebody you can call on. You got somebody you can talk to, bounce ideas off of, man. But just really honestly, and I mean this in the non-homoist way I can say it, but you got somebody else to spend your life with. Right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got your spouse if you choose to go that route, but when you got your good
time
friends
away from your spouse sometimes.
Yeah. So you got somebody to spend your life with, man. You have another life partner. I mean, I believe we're gonna be partners for life. Right. No matter how many times we fuss, we fight. I mean, shit, that's what we do. Mm-hmm. We fuss, we fight, and we come back and we chop it up. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, to me, that's some good benefits to having a good friend.
Oh yeah, man, that's the biggest benefit, man. Me and Clayton been friends longer. I met him in the 3rd grade, and I met Mazio with like 6th grade or something like that.
I would have thought that Clay would have liked you as much as
I met Vincent in 7th grade, but friendship is just like a partnership, man. You in it for the long run, and your friends will always be there for you, and your friends will also tell you when you're wrong, and
absolutely.
they will also criticize you when you need it to be, even though you might not take it to heart at first, but you do understand where it's coming from, and it's coming from love.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The benefit of having good friends, because we all know some people can get some terrible friends that give them some terrible information, terrible ways to go in life. So it's just
like PJ Washington.
He need a good friend.
Right. But yeah, I mean, the benefit of having good friends is like, you can grow, and especially like the friends I got, they call me out. Like one thing that rings in my head lately, Malcolm called me out a few months ago about a situation, and I never forget it. So I think that you really know you got a friend when they don't just tell you when you're doing good. They'll call you out when you do some BS too. So
a true friend, well, the benefit of having a true friend is, basically pretty much what everyone else said was like they correct you when you're wrong, and they don't, not saying they don't care about your feelings, but they want you to know the truth, so that way you don't have to make that same mistake and then do the same thing over again. And I'm sweating like I'm in preach a sermon or whatnot. But yeah, I mean, like,
I know the feeling.
But I mean, having someone that will have your back and that have your best interests at heart, and that's the main thing that you need to look at. If they value your, every being, like and as long as you're doing something positive, I mean, that's the main thing. So
Yeah.
I mean, good friends, man. Like one, I think Clay just said it, man. Good friends are hard to find, man.
right.
Oh yeah.
they are really truly, especially like long-term friendships, man. They hard to come by these days. You hear of people, and that's not to say that some people remain friends forever, because some people do have falling out, here and there, whatever. But it's very rare. It's very rare to have long-term friendships, but when you do have them long-term friendships, you establish like a really good base, like a really good foundation. Right. So y'all have something to stand on. So every little argument and every little fight ain't gonna break y'all up. You know what I'm saying? Because
because should never break up a friendship.
Nah, because a friendship is almost like it's like it's another form of a relationship. Mm-hmm. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's just like even when you do have falling outs, but like I said, it's another relationship.
Well,
it takes
break up women friendship.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that like what Vincent said. Like sometimes we've been friends for so long, and like when you hear like stories about people like they ain't friends no more over like some small some bull crap. Yeah. Like it's strange to me. I'm like, I don't understand it, because I've been friends with my friends forever, and like
we argue all the time.
Yeah, right. Even some of the friends that we haven't talked to in a while, like we can spark up a conversation, like hit them up, and it's still cool. Like even if we ain't talked in months, it's still cool. It's still all love. But some people don't have that. Some people, like, if you ain't talked to them in 2 hours, they ain't your friend no more. Right. Like, it's just that's just like foreign to me. I don't know if it's the same for y'all.
Malcolm just said it best. Like, I see that all the time with females. Like, and they can be friends for 10, 15 years, and next thing you know, one little argument because this one said something that this one did, or this one is friends with somebody that she don't like, and so now we ain't friends no more.
It'd be like small, so you'd be like, what? Yeah, y'all ain't friends over that.
Yeah, and for me, like, y'all never were friends. If that's the case, y'all just tolerated each other this whole time.
And then for the longest, I've when I was working at the post office and whatnot, I've heard like some females say, "Oh, I don't have female friends like that." I'm like, "Why not?" She's like, "Well, because they be on that BS and we fall out, and next thing we don't talk anymore. So that's why I'm like I can become friends with dudes easily." And I'm like, that's dumb. Like,
no, well, I think like when a female says she's friends with dudes more than females, she the problem.
Yeah, most definitely.
I never thought about that, but
that makes a lot of sense.
You're a woman too. You have things. We're friends. We're men. We have things in common. We got things that differ, of course, but we have things in common. We can find a baseline. So if you're a woman saying that you're better friends with men, you're the issue.
And you know what? That makes so much sense now. It does make sense. Yeah, and you know what, Clay? With that, she can be friends with guys more because remember, we're a lot more tolerable. Stupid things ain't gonna break up our friendship.
That's right.
So that's why she can be friends with guys more, because even though she is a problem, we ain't gonna just dismiss her over something small. We're able to be like, all right, whatever, it is what it is. Whatever. We had a dispute. All right, cool. We cool the next day. Yeah. If she take that same attitude and stuff like that with a bunch of females, of course they're gonna have a falling out. That's what they do best.
Guys, we can have an argument tomorrow. We just dap it up and we're good again.
Right.
That was just like the argument was the argument. They ain't got nothing to do with tomorrow.
Exactly.
Remember how I got friends with Lamont? We got into a fight. They was friends the next day.
And I mean, like to even
dap it up,
and to even put myself out there, like with my friends. I mean, when we had an issue with me in the podcast, like there was times where I wasn't actually doing my thing. I wasn't, doing my part. And they corrected me on that. And I got a little bit upset, but then I really sat back and thought about it. And I'm like, it's the truth. Yeah. And we're still kicking it. I'm not going to sit up here and get mad about something so dumb or whatnot.
You just dap it up and you just move on.
Exactly.
I mean, and the good thing is that, like, one of y'all just said, look, I think Malcolm just said this, like, look, if one of us brings something to you, whether you like it or not, and sometimes we do say stuff to each other, we don't really like it. We're like, man, the hell with what he talking about? But the thing is, you realize that at the end of the day, my homies ain't bringing nothing to my attention except from a place out of love.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I might not be trying to hear it, but I'm like, but my homies ain't going to bring nothing to me because they, they on some jealousy stuff or because, they trying to, whatever. It's because it came from a place. It came from a good place. Right. The fact that it even came up to start with. Because true friends bring stuff up. I don't know why people think that, I'm a good friend because, I'm a good friend because I bring stuff up. Or because I don't. Oh, nah, man, I ain't telling, man. I ain't trying to get in there. If you're a good friend, you're going to bring it up.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And then to piggyback on what you're saying, like, because if you sit back and not say anything, then you see your friend fall on their face. What kind of friend are you? You want to definitely be there to support them and make sure that they don't fall. And sometimes they might make mistakes. But you want to help them out or whatnot.
And that's one thing, again, like, I understand, like, have like relationships that I had with females. Like they'll be like out in, like at a club or like at a bar or something. They'll see another group of girls and say, "Oh, why her friend let her come out the house like that?" But that same person will have friends who have like real world issues that they won't speak about and like tell them the truth about. Like, hey, you know, go to them and like tell them. But you up here talking about some other person that you don't know, saying why her friends let her come out the house dressed like that. But you won't even talk to your own friends and like correct them, like, hey, you know, you doing this, you probably shouldn't do it. They won't have those conversations, and then down the line they ain't friends no more over some little small BS.
Right.
Exactly.
And I'll say this: I understand that, you know, which for us, I feel like God ordained our friendship, and He brought us together for a reason, and that's why we're still cool like that. But I understand there's certain things like, you know, some people have seasons, like, you know, they're friends for a certain amount of time, and once that period is over, it's over with. But I mean, the whole thing with the whole female thing, I definitely don't understand all that. So
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when we think about like good friends, you know, like, you know, having good friends, you know, the fact, like when I think about our friendship, like one of those things that I think about, like what makes me a good friend to y'all, like, or how can I be a good friend to, you know, to my homies? Be honest. I try to be honest with y'all at all times, whether you like it or not. From my standpoint, how can I be a good? First of all, it's be there.
Right. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? If you need me, I'm there. You know, regardless of what it is. You know, if you need to talk about something, man, I got you. I don't care what it is. Right. You know, there's been plenty of times, you know, Claire hit me up, either just run somebody, hey man, let me just talk to you and just, you know, get your intake on this. And I'm like, all right, you know, whatever. You know, I always got time for my brothers, you know, and if I don't have time at that moment, I always get back to y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when I think about like, how can I continue to be a good friend, or what makes me try to be a good friend of y'all, you know, like I said, man, it's time. Right. You know what I'm saying? And loyalty. I don't know why people now they make it like this is such a new word. Loyalty ain't nothing new. No. You know what I'm saying? And that is one of those things of how you could be a good friend to somebody. You know, loyalty, man. Loyalty. I know what my loyalty's like. Now, with that being said, like I said, honesty is key in a good friendship, because if you doing something stupid, I'm not gonna stick by your side while you do something stupid. Right. I hate when people tell me that whole ride or die. I think that's the dumbest thing in the world. Yeah. A true friend ain't a ride or die. A true friend ain't gonna let you ride to die. You know what I'm saying? They gonna check you before you ride to die. Right. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. That's just how I think about, like, you know, when we, you know, compare like the benefits of having good friends, but how can you be a good friend? I mean, I don't know. To me, that's what it is: honesty, loyalty, and just, you know, just hell, give them time. Y'all gotta have time for one another. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Yeah. So I'm a firm believer. You have to make time for yourself. You got to make time for your wife and kids, and you have to make time for your friends. Yeah. All of that goes into keeping you sane, man. And I would tell you this. Laquan was like a really brutally honest friend.
Indeed.
He didn't know how to sugarcoat nothing. So he definitely would call you out, kind of like Coach Howell did Clayton that day.
Talk about that one.
But you knew it came from love, and you understood him. You probably was mad at him at one point, but after you sat down and you thought about it, you'd be like, "Oh, he was right about it." But he was definitely blunt.
For sure.
To the point. I hate talking to Laquan because I knew he was gonna say something that I didn't like, but I appreciate it every time he told me something. So he was definitely blunt.
Right. So I mean, I think the key to being a good friend is, I think this is what I learned in like all relationships, just from having the friends that I have. Like, I think in the friendship, you should come into it like, what can you render? What can you bring to the friendship without trying to gain? Because if you go into it with good faith and try to, you know, give all you can and be there for your friends, they're gonna reciprocate. I mean, if you got good friends, that's one way that you know you got good friends. You like give and try to be there and do all you can for them, and if you get that reciprocation, you probably have some good friends. Yeah. So I think that's the key to it. It ain't about like what benefits you can get from your friends, because that's going to be automatic. If they're truly your friends, you should go into it looking like, what can I render? What can I bring to the table? What can I help to help build my friends around me? Because once you fortify them, they're going to fortify you, because everyone in this room and even our other friends, y'all have done countless things for me that I appreciate and will always appreciate.
Well, it's mutual. You know, I feel the same way. Like everybody has been there for me, be it physically or if it's just been verbally. If I just needed to bounce something off you, like I said, this dude right here was with me when I went through one of my darkest times in life. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't need nothing tangible. I ain't need no money. I ain't need nothing. But the dude gave me the best thing he could have gave me, and that was time. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, man, that was what I really needed. Like you said, and I didn't mean to cut you off, Mike. But, you know, like you're saying, like one of the things is if you, like I said, friendships like a relationship, they take work. Right. You know what I'm saying? They take work. You know, nobody's just organically, naturally friends. It takes work. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the chemistry might be organic. Right. You know, we get along, but like I said, overall, it takes work. And you made a very interesting point. You know, you pour into the friendship. You don't go into it like, I'm gonna be friends with these dudes because they got this or they that. Oh, I can get this. Right. When you go into it like that, that's all you gonna ever get out of it. Because you first of all, when you have a motive on something, you're tunnel. You have tunnel vision. You're blindsided by it, or not blindsided. What's what I want to say? Like, I don't know what's the word I want to say.
Blinders on? Huh? You saying like you have blinders on?
Well, yeah, you have blinders on and you're stuck looking at one thing or whatever, and that's all you gonna ever get out of that friendship. But like what you just said, when you go into it and you go into it like, yo, what can I give to these guys? Like in this, like what can I pour into this friendship to make it a good friendship? The reciprocal is going to be automatic. Right. Yeah. You don't have to ask for things because your friends will learn you. You'll learn them. Mm-hmm. They know what you need. You know what they need. And that's what you pour in. And if it's an organic friendship, they're going to pour in, which means you already have a benefit. Yeah. So that's awesome.
And I just think friendship has a way of looking at things differently than what you have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if I have an issue, I'll call Clayton Omazi or somebody and be like, and I tell them what's going on, but they got a totally different way than I see it, right? And they let me know, and I think that's also a great benefit of having a good friend,
right? And I mean, like what all y'all said, I mean, I agree with everything, especially when you was talking about loyalty and being trust, you know, being honest or whatnot, and you know, just going into it, just not thinking that you know if you have friends, you just trying to get something out of it. I mean, I keep saying this, and I'll keep saying preaching over and over again, you know. If your friends have your best interests at heart, then they're people that you need to keep in your life or whatnot. Mm-hmm. And people, and also another type of people that you need to have or to keep in your corner is that they don't always agree with everything that you're doing, even if it's wrong. And I mean, yeah, like you don't go into trying to become friends and thinking like, you know, I'm gonna get like money or I'm gonna get this car, different things like that. You think about it as like, how can I help this person? How can they help me? And the things that you don't even think about, things that you might have flaws in, you'll probably end up getting like growing in. Like for example, me, I was not confident like that. I mean, I wasn't out there like that or whatever, like talking out loud and everything like that. But you know, hanging out with y'all for all these years, I mean, I've gotten confidence, and I mean, you know, I don't care what people think of me or whatnot. I can say whatever. So I mean, yeah, it's just, you know, you just have to go in there and you know, be loyal, be trustworthy, be honest at all times. I mean, like for example, with Clayton, I say that he looks like the dude from Indian in the Cupboard, and he says I look like what was it, Idi Amin or whatever. Yeah. So I mean, no, but no, I mean, yeah, you know, you can't just think that I'm gonna give up on friendship because like, you know, y'all gonna have a fallout. That happens in life, and it's and the same thing for marriage. If you want to have a fallout in marriage, what you gonna do? Give up on that? You can't do that.
Every time you fight,
right. So.
Yeah. You know, when I think about, you know, it's us. You know, we do the podcast together, the four of us. But then when I think about some of our other friends, not saying that I count them up, but like when I think about the number, that's still that's still a small circle of us. Like there's people we've been cool with along the way over the years. You know, like there's a certain group of brothers I used to be cool with. I don't and won't hang with those dudes. They were associates at best. Yeah. Some people are not meant to be around long term. Now, and for me personally, and I guess as a group, we've kept it this way. Like we kept a small circle for the most part, a pretty tight knit circle, and we really ain't allowed nobody out of it. Right. But we ain't let nobody in it either. You know,
No,
so
I tell people I don't need no new friends.
no,
I got
bro, I tell people
plenty.
all the time. I say I got friends. I don't need new ones. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Do you think it's better to keep it that way though, like a small circle?
I think it is better to keep a small circle because you have to have friendship is personalized. And I always tell people you don't choose your friends choose you.
Right.
And they allow you to be friends with them. They allow you into their circle. So I think friendship has to be personalized and it's specialized. It's things that Clayton and I do that me and Vincent don't do. Because all friendships should be personalized. So I think you should have a small circle. Now, if there are people that you are cool with, such as let's call them associates, that you know I'm cool with a lot of people, but my circle of friends that I trust is small, and I keep it. I like it that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think there's benefits to having a small circle, and I think there are detriments too, because we can talk about how women's friendships oftentimes fall out, but one thing that women are great at doing is making new friends, and us as men, we're not good at that. Yeah, we're not always good at making new friends. I made some new friends along the way, but I know women are just better at making new friends. So I think, having a small circle has its benefits because you can cultivate that relationship. It's more personal, and you don't have as many people to keep up with because we know like life as you get older is busy, and sometimes we don't even talk to each other all the time, and we can go a few days without hitting each other up. Sometimes when we get busy and just got stuff to do. So I think the more friends you have, the harder it is going to be to really cultivate those relationships. So a benefit of having a small circle is it's less work and less of a balancing act. But I think the detriment would be, bringing new friends in. They can bring in more variant, and you can have more experiences and things that you may miss out on by keeping your circle as is.
I mean, I think it's good to have a small, tight group or whatever, because I mean, y'all get to develop and blossom that friendship or whatnot instead of having a large group, and then you might think y'all could do the same thing, and they might be easily offended, and then next thing it causes a huge blowout, and then maybe all y'all stop being friends because of that whole blowout. So I mean, I feel like it's better to have that small core. Y'all develop it, and you learn each other, learn what makes you like move or gives you that ignition or that drive to keep you going or whatnot. So yeah.
I mean, I gotta agree too. Like, I know for me personally, I'm not one to keep a lot of people around me anyway. Not that I'm reclusive or anything like that, but I don't like a lot of people around me to start with. So like, it has been a great benefit for me to keep my circle pretty tight and a small circle, if you will. Like you just said, it's not a lot of people you got to keep up with. Number one, because I mean we all got lives, we all have things that we are responsible for and things that we have to do. And then also, like what Malcolm said, you have to treat friendships like they are personal. And even though we have a circle, it's a circle of us. I have a personal relationship with each guy individually and with the whole. And by it just being a small circle, I do get to cultivate those relationships. Right. I do get to give time to each person, as needed or when, when I'm able to. I think one of the detriments to having a large circle, first of all, there's more people to keep up with. And then it is very impersonal because I mean you got all these people, and then some people tell us, oh yeah, these are my besties, and they got girls, they can have 20 besties, to me those extra people, I don't really consider them in my circle. They are associates, and with associates, I don't expect them to be loyal. They don't even have to be honest with me. They just people that we just kick it with. We kick it when we see each other, or we might hang out every now and then. But am I expecting you to be loyal to me? No. Am I expecting you to have my back? Not really. And I know I really don't expect to be able to call on you, except for when we chalk it up every now and then. Right. But with my circle, I can go to my circle. I know I can depend on my circle. You know what I'm saying? But then some of those other people, and I guess this is probably one of the reasons why it is such a great thing to have a small circle, it keeps toxic people out. We got a tight knit circle, right?
Yep.
And we fuss, we fight, you know, we bump heads every now and then, but there's no toxicity,
Right.
because we have cultivated this thing for such a long time,
Right.
and I think other circles have done the same thing. Whether it's a 20-year relationship or a 10-year, they have cultivated certain aspects of that friendship, like trust, loyalty, respect, things like that. But you know, but that's because everybody's so close and tight knit. You know, it ain't 30. Excuse me, I was about to say 30 niggas. It ain't 30. It's not 30 people.
30 of us.
You know, it ain't 30 people you got to keep up with. But so you don't really allow for that toxicity in your circle. But how do you even know if somebody is toxic or that this is a toxic friendship?
I think, you know, if you're trying to grow and they not trying to grow with you, and they always opposing the things that you're trying to do better in life, I think that's a toxic friend. A friend that's not supportive in you trying to be better, I think that's a toxic friend. I just think as you grow, things change as you grow. You don't I don't do some of the things that I did 10 years ago. I grew. And your friendship should grow with you, but we all know that sometimes we do have friends that don't grow with us as much as they should. But your friendship should grow as you grow, and they should be supportive of the things that you want to do. I'm married now, so I can't go out to the strip clubs and those things.
You told Mazia to go.
I was
He
just,
married?
I was just joking. I was just joking. But my friends understand that I can't do those things no more, because they see the growth in me. But there are friends that don't see that growth, and they think you'll sell out. They'll call you a sellout. I've been called bougie before. I'm like, I'm the same guy. I just want more. I want better things in life now.
Right.
But I think by your growth, you slowly weed out those toxic friendships just by you growing.
Oh yeah, because they're gonna fall off.
They will fall off.
Yeah, I think the key identifier of a person around you that's toxic is that they're only around you for their benefit or your detriment. Because I mean, yeah, we can talk about like how women fall out and stuff too, but let's not get it twisted. We know people.
Men do it too.
We've seen men who fall out because their friend's trying to sleep with their girl or just random dumb stuff. So I think that's the key identifier of someone's toxic. If they're trying to cause you harm, like be a detriment to your life, or they're just around you for their own personal gain, and they're not trying to grow themselves or grow the relationship that you guys have. So I think that's just a key indicator you should look out for. Like, is this person really, like, for me, is this person growing themselves? Because if someone's growing themselves, you can learn from them, and are they trying to help me grow too? That's two questions I think you can ask to identify a person like that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with both Malcolm and Clayton about that. I mean, if you see that, for example, Malcolm and myself are married or whatnot, and we have like a friend, for example, that's like saying, "Oh man, let's go to the strip club, bang these
Y'all
chicks."
been talking about the strip club, boy.
Hey man,
Probably because we can't go no more.
But like they're saying, like, "Yo, let's smash these chicks and whatnot." But I'm like, well, why am I going to do that? Why are you going to try to lead Malcolm and myself down that road? You know, we're married, and you know what we promised our wives. We took a vow upon.
And none of that, what y'all have to lose. 'Cause that idiot ain't got nothing to lose.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
So basically, if you have someone in your friendship circle that is it doesn't care about what happens to you or you know your well-being or family, whatever, you know, you need to get them out of there. So
Absolutely.
I mean, I have nothing to add to that. I mean, because Clayton said exactly what I was going to say about that. Like, I mean, people that's in your life for their own benefit, I think that's probably like the most toxic person, whether it's a marriage or a friendship or anything. Friendship should be symbiotic. There should be a mutual gain there, and you don't go into it for your benefit. You go into it pretty much like you said. how can I benefit these guys? What do I add and what do I give these guys? Because the reciprocal, it's going to happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that toxicity stuff, that I'm glad that people like that, as I think Malcolm just said, like people fall off. They're going to phase out your life anyway. And then I'm glad that we talked about that, because now let's talk about outgrowing people, because we've done it. If I'm sitting here and being honest, there were people that we were friends with. We still cool with them, right. But for the most part, we outgrew them. You know what I'm saying? There's things that, as a circle, our circle did this, but they still wanted to be linear. They wanted to just they still want to do this, and we was like, nah, bro. We as a group, we were maturing, in different ways, but maturity was the factor there, and as the foundation. And these particular people, they didn't want anything out of life, and I think we passed them by.
Yeah, the key to life is growth, and if you don't want to grow, then you're gonna be left behind, and that's the truth of the matter is that
anything not grown is dead.
Oh yeah,
exactly. So you'll slowly die off, and there are people that's satisfied with doing exactly what they've been doing forever, and they don't want to grow. Right. And those are the ones that get left behind, because the key to life is growth.
Yeah, I remember one thing a guy told me that, we all know that even, it was years ago, and even then, like, I knew that mindset was incorrect. He was like, oh, I'm the same person I always been. I'm never going to change. I'm always going to be the same guy. Like, bro, that ain't growth. Like, and like we had a debate about it. We said that, like, which... Yep. Now that I looked at it, it was foolish that I was even trying to convince him otherwise, because he had his mindset that I'm always gonna be. Well, his words were, "I'm the same nigga always been. I'm always gonna be the same nigga." I was like, bro, that's not good. I was like, that means you're not changing, you're not growing. But he won't try. He's like, no, it ain't a bad thing. Come on.
Yeah, like, but people don't realize that when you keep performing the same equation, you yield the same answer each time. Right. Yeah. So if you keep adding 1 and 1, you're gonna always get 2. Yeah. But that's not growth.
No, that's not growth.
He told you exactly what it was. I'm the same nigga. I'm gonna always be. You're right, and you're gonna always yield the same results in life.
Yeah. I remember I used to say, I ain't never gonna get married. Look at me now, married with 2 kids. So.
Now that was growth.
That's growth.
That is not what he said, though. He said, I ain't never get married. I'm gonna be a player for life. That's the whole statement. Tell the people the whole statement, bro.
That was the whole statement.
But you know what?
But I'm married now, and I got 2 kids,
but you say stuff like that when you're 21, because that's your mindset then. But then there's growth.
That's growth.
There's growth and maturity. Yeah.
I mean, and it's basically, if you don't want to grow or move forward, I mean, it's basically you going to be in this infinite loop or whatever. And in order for you to change and get a different outcome, you have to do something different. And it's like pretty much like think of it as you planting a flower or something like that. You got to add water to it and make it grow or whatever. We grew, and then those that, Okay, hold on.
You growing weed? What?
Yeah, I'm talking. Hold on, rewind. What he said? Nah. Anyway, whatever.
That boy don't know who he is. Now he growing marijuana.
Nah, all right. So it's like,
It ain't legal in North Carolina yet.
Man, shut up. But nah, it's like, I mean, you have to add water, meaning like the love and the nourishment that you put into a friendship, whatever. The people that want to move forward or whatever will grow with the plant like a flower blooming or whatever like that. And those that don't want to grow and stay complacent, they're gonna still be that little bud in the soil or whatnot.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Well, actually, they're probably gonna be the weeds that
weeds.
You need to get out of there.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
And you know what? When we think about outgrowing friends, because when you outgrow friends, a lot of times some people just fade away. Y'all lose touch. Y'all don't this and that. But then sometimes you literally have to. You have to physically and verbally outgrow friends. Like, look, man, I can't do this no more. And I think in that aspect, it becomes a little bit more difficult because you're losing a friend. I mean, you were friends with them for a reason to start with. There was some chemistry there. But how do you deal with losing somebody or even outgrowing them? Like, how do you deal with losing a friend? Because it's like any relationship. It's like a breakup almost. Right. You know what I'm saying? There's there's words there, and if we can be completely honest, we're grown men here. There is certain emotions that go along with it. It's somebody you've been cool with for Lord knows how long, but because they're not moving in the same direction as you, y'all got to part ways now.
Well, you got to grow, and I mean you have to grow because that's what your life is for.
Yeah,
you have to grow, and I understand it's hard to outgrow friends. It is hard, but you have to make that decision that is best for your life, and so I just think now we're gonna talk about losing friends, and that's totally different later in the show.
No, we there now.
Well, I guess what I'm saying, losing friends are like
okay, yeah.
That's totally different than what I'm talking about. But it's just something that you have to do to get to where you should be, growth. And I just think it's sad that you have to grow and lose a friend. Mm-hmm. It's always tough to lose a friend. But I still think you still care for them and you still love them. You just can't hang out with them as much as you do. Mm-hmm. I think that's always be there. And you're always willing to help them if they ever ask you for help. And you always try to bring them forward, but sometimes you just got to move on, and you have to grow in order to be the better version of yourself.
Right.
Yeah. So, I agree with that statement. I think with growth, there's going to be pain in order for you to grow. So, I think that's a product of what we said earlier. Like men, we usually hold on to our friends, but sometimes we have to come to that realization. There's some friends you can't always hold on to. Yeah. You have to release them, and it's gonna hurt a little bit. But we know with the pain that you experience through life, that's where you get the greatest wisdom. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a lesson in that. Once you have to let a friend go for whatever reasons, you outgrow them or they just on some wild stuff. Right. So we got a relationship with them, and it's hard to do because like I known this guy since whatever. Like I think men and loyalty, I think we hold loyalty closer to our heart than most people. That's why we hold on to our friends. So I think it's just a painful thing to do, but that's just part of life. Like that's the only way you're gonna grow is experiencing pain.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I mean, when y'all have that fallout or whatever, and you realize that this person is not doesn't care for your best interest, I mean, it's at the point where that season, it's time for you to move on or whatever. And if you see that you're not progressing or moving forward, or you like Malcolm said, you're not seeing your best you when you're still with that person or you're friends with, I mean, then that means you just got to cut them off, whatever. And I mean, it may suck, it may hurt a little bit, but at the end, I mean, you're going to be a better you and be stronger. So
I mean, yeah, and like I said, like dealing with losing friends, you know what I'm saying? Like there is the emotional toll that goes, and I don't think sometimes people really look at that aspect of it because it's a friendship. It's not like a romantic relationship, right. But there is that emotional toll that does happen. Just like you're like, damn, we've been cool all this time, but like you guys just said, like I'm trying to grow. This is where I'm going, and this person no longer suits my life, or they no longer are playing a part in that, right. In my growth, or just growing in general, like even for themselves. Some people become complacent where they are. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's one of those, like it's a necessary pain that you have to go through, because you're like, look, I can either stay here because this is my homie, I've been cool with him this long, I don't really want to leave him like that or not be friends with him. But you got a choice to make. Right. Everything comes down to a choice. Mm-hmm. And it's like, do I continue to mature and to grow, or do I stay here with them just so we can be cool? Mm-hmm. And I think if it was a true friendship that was meant to last, if you're growing, they're going to grow with you, even if they weren't ready. Like, you know what, my homie doing this and doing that, and he's doing better. You know what, maybe I need to get on board this train too, because like we were saying earlier, if you pour the right things into it, and when your friend is growing the one thing you can pour into that without getting anything out of, or at least not trying to, is support. Right. If my homie is growing and I see him maturing and I support that, then guess what I do get out of it without even realizing it? I grow, even if it wasn't even something I was trying to do. I'm like, but I'm going to support my homie because he's trying to do something better. And in the end, hell, I end up doing better. Right. You know what I'm saying? Versus somebody like, oh, nah, man, you fake, you this, you that. You think you better than somebody, you bougie, you this, just because they're trying to do better. So it's one of those that it's necessary, right? But we do need to realize that it ain't as easy, not for guys or females. It's not that easy to just, it's not that easy to just let go of a friend, especially somebody you've been cool with for a good minute. But it
comes with pain.
Yeah, it does. Now, as far as losing friends in a different way, that's a different aspect that we have personally dealt with. Losing a friend to death. So that's a different one. And like I said, we have a tight knit circle. Our circle is very small. We haven't. You really don't come out of the circle. Not. First of all, none of us have wanted to. But we damn sure ain't let nobody in. Right. So the circle is pretty tight. But we do know that life does happen. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen. Life is inevitable. Death is inevitable. It's nothing we can do about it. But as friends, that is something we have to deal with. Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was very, very hard. I mean, I don't think you ever get over losing a friend like that. I know when it first happened, man, I didn't want to talk to anyone, man. It was very depressing. I actually just kept going to work because I didn't want to deal with it at home or anything like that. And for a long time, I don't think you completely ever get over it. It still hurts even when I think about them. But I mean, y'all might call me crazy, but I think Laquan visit me in my dreams sometimes. Like sometimes when I'm going through I'm having a hard day and I got a lot on my mind, I have a dream and Laquan will be there and we talk. And y'all can call me crazy, but I do believe that people that past actually come to us in our dreams.
I believe it
because they don't want to make us afraid. Yeah. So they come to us in our dreams. And like I said, it's hard. You never really get over it, but you just learn to live with it. And it sucks if you ever lose your friend in that form or fashion.
Yeah, I don't think you're crazy because, I mean, I've had dreams before, like hanging out with Quan. We're just doing regular stuff. Like, we're at a cookout and then I wake up and I'm like, dang, that was just a dream. Mm-hmm. So I don't think you're crazy. I've had dreams like that before, often, and I wake up wishing he was here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember getting the phone call, and hearing that Quan had passed, and it hit me pretty hard. I mean, because I thought about just all the things that we did and it got in trouble and getting 55s and got 55s and when a French test together when we cheat off each other's paper and whatnot. Or how when we was in this when we was in misplaced class and I got the wrong answer and Quan passed gas, and she's like, "Oh, that's correct." I was like, "You didn't even say it," but I mean, it just hit me so hard because I mean, that man, that dude was always happy, and I mean, just hearing his laugh, I mean, just his presence, just made you want to be happy and do good and be a better person and whatnot. So I mean, I know for the longest around that time when it happened, I was down. I don't know. I just felt like I lost a part of myself. 'Cause I mean, all y'all, like, I feel like each and every one of us has a portion of, like, what we put in each other, whatever. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense or whatnot. Yeah. All right, thank you. But, but yeah, no, but it's just that I feel sometimes when I get to the point where I'm like, man, I'm tired, man. I think of Quan and his laugh and just how he just is upfront and honest, and I just, keep it moving and whatnot, just keep pushing forward. So
yeah, and it's so funny because I think about it actually all the time because it's actually one of those things you can't forget. And I remember the night that it happened, which it was so weird because literally 2 days right before, me and Quan was on the phone and we weren't talking about like literally nothing. He was I don't know where he was working at the time. I think it was someplace in Rocky Mount, some hospital thing.
Oh yeah.
I think it was like Hospira or something.
Yeah,
like
Hospira.
that.
Yeah,
Hospira. That's where he was working.
It was late at night when because he was working like overnight or something like that. He was like, "Yo, what the hell you doing?" And I was like, "Nigga, why you calling me so late?" or whatever. That's literally 2 days before he passed. I was like, "What you calling me for?" And he was like, "Man, wake your ass up." And I was like, "Yo, what do you want?" or whatever. Because we had just talked that day or whatever. Literally, he hit me up. He was like, "Yo, what up?" We weren't talking about anything. And it was so funny. I was telling Malcolm this one time before that, like, it was weird because at that, like, right before he passed, Quan and I had developed, like, a whole new different, like a special aspect of our friendship. Like it was growing on another level, like where it wasn't just homie, what up. It was like Quan was goofy, and we all we all are, but it got serious. Like and which it was unusual for Quan to like really get serious, because it don't matter what happened, Quan was gonna be the one to make the joke first.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? He was gonna break the silence, and it was weird because when we was on the phone those 2 days before he passed, like it was like I said, we found like a new bond with our friendship. So when I got the call that night, I was in bed. Malcolm called me. He was like, "Hey, I got bad news." And I was already out. At first, I was half asleep because he called me like probably like 2 in the morning or something like that. Yeah. And he was like, "I got bad news for you. Quan was in an accident." And I was like, like I said, I'm half asleep, so I'm halfway hearing him. And he was like, he didn't make it. And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, he didn't make it." And it didn't dawn on me then. Like I said, I was half asleep. So I was like, all right. I was like, "Yo, I'm going to call you in the morning or whatever." So I got off the phone with Malcolm. I laid back down and I went to sleep. I don't know if it was that I was half asleep or was it that like I just couldn't accept what he had just told me, because I got up out the bed and I sat on the edge of the bed and I sat there for a minute, and I was thinking about what he said, and it didn't hit me at that moment. I don't know if it was probably denial over there. I was like, "Nah, my homie, it isn't that, whatever. Maybe he wasn't a bad accident." So I laid back down and I went to sleep. I woke up that morning, and I woke up early that morning. And I don't know if I called Malcolm right away, but I woke up and all of a sudden it hit me what this dude just told me. And I started bawling. I was like, "Yo," I'm like, "Mazio, like, I feel like a part of me just died or whatever," because he was a part of me. Like all of y'all are. Y'all are like physically a part of me or whatever. And that it hit me so damn hard that morning. And I eventually did call, and I was like, "Yo, what happened?" Because now all this that he told me last night, it's all starting to make sense, So I mean, losing a friend was hard. It's like losing a family member. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if we can even separate the two.
It is a family member.
It is a family member, And it was one of those, like, okay, you lose a family member, yeah, you got your family, this, that, and the third. But when you lose a friend, you lose part of that lifelong partner that you hope that you were about to have.
Right. Your friends are a part of you. They make you who you are.
Right. And it did put a damper on things. Like I was like Malcolm. For a little bit. I think up until the funeral. Like I mean, we talked. Because we needed details about stuff like that. But like. I think we all went through I think we all kind of became reclusive for a little bit up until the funeral, because it was just hard, it was like what were we gonna say?
I think that's when it hit me the heaviest. Like I was at my grandma's house. Everybody was there. They told us what happened or whatever. But I didn't feel that weight until I saw him.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's what it was too. Because I told my cousin Donald, and we talked about it, and Camilla and Kia, we talked about it a little bit at first, and then it was like, all right, I ain't talking no more about it. And
Yeah.
I didn't talk to y'all about it anymore.
People would
Until-
call me and I wouldn't even answer.
Yeah, because I couldn't talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it. And it was one of those things, it was like, I was still in disbelief, even though I knew it. It wasn't until the day of the funeral that it really hit me like, okay, this is real.
Right.
Yeah.
My dude is gone. Maybe it was just a bad dream, you know, leading up until the funeral, because I ain't talked to y'all.